Thank you so much for joining today's Redington virtual session. The topic for today's session is securing your business with the COVID-19 crisis. The presenter for today's session is Mohan. During the session, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A tab and they will be answered at the end of the session. Mohan, over to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. Today, we're going to see how to secure our business or published application during this crisis. So, as the crisis began, so there has been a rise of internet traffic because it actually changed our lives and it actually changed how we do things normally, and whatever we are interacting now became everything online, and people started using online resources, um, especially, and so the infrastructure whose application has been published, they'll also have to make sure the can handle the load or the traffic generated by these crises. So, and they always have this concern in this mind whether their current infrastructure, which is on premises, can able to scale up quickly as the load increases. So we'll see how Barracuda will help you on these cases. And apart from the traffic spin rise, we are also seeing a couple of hoax and couple of attacks using the crisis. And there have been many phishing sites and phishing emails, or and many attacks being they are exploiting the COVID situation, and hackers are like spreading more attacks over the internet. And there we have to keep these things in our mind. One is like for the users, how securely we can give access remotely, and other is the email, and then is the data, how the data has been accessed by the user from outside, and our published web applications. So in this session, we're going to focus on the web apps. And two things we'll have to consider. One is scaling and protecting. So now people, everything started online, so they'll have to like scale up the current infrastructure, whatever might not be enough for the current increased load or traffic. And at the same time, while they are scaling it, they'll have to make sure it has been protected. They'll have to make sure it has been accessed by the legitimate users and it's not uh, misused by the hacker or any third parties. So we'll see how to secure our web application. So one thing, it's like quickly scale our web application. It's using a CDN. It's a cloud-based delivery node. So we can immediately put one of the CDN by using Amazon or Azure, and so these cloud instances will help us to scale quickly instead of increasing or instead of expanding our infrastructure. And we'll have to protect from the basic application attacks like OWASP top 10 and DDoS attack or any advanced bots. So the need of web application. So what differentiate between web application firewall and the traditional perimeter firewall? Okay, so if you notice attacks like cookie poisoning, hidden field manipulation, cross-site scripting, the IPS or traditional firewall will block only if they have a known signature. But any attacks coming like injection or parameter tampering or buffer overflow, any like targeted attacks, and the user knows how the application behaves and they are injecting some kind of payloads on the known application, those perimeter IPS or firewall might not able to block it or even detect it. With the web application firewall in place, it not only detects any attacks or any malicious behavior happening on the application front, it will block it and it will prevent from any kind of data has been stolen. Okay, and these IPS and any network firewall, they don't have protection for zero-day attacks. They'll only detect and block with the known signatures. Okay. So this is with Barracuda Web Application Firewall, we'll have both type of protection. One is for inbound inspection another for outbound inspection. Inbound inspection is something when a user are trying to access your web portal, and outbound inspection, it's the data that is going out of your premises. So the WAF will able to check what kind of attack is coming, or if it is a legitimate traffic, any kind of attacks or injection or type parameter tampering, it will be able to protect. But apart from this, it can also block from any traffic originating from any particular location. If you want to block all traffic generated from China or Russia, you can do it by using the WAF. And you can also have a cloaking in place. Cloaking, it's just like hiding your sensitive information. So usually hackers, the first thing they'll do is the reconnaissance. So reconnaissance, they'll be able to find what type of web services is running and what type of application is there, what is the version behind it, what is the operating system used for this web application. So with cloaking, you can actually prevent those details. So this will make hacker too difficult to search for any node vulnerabilities for the particular version or particular operating system. And for outbound inspection, you can have control, or you can check any sensitive information is being sent out. You can always mask it, or you can encrypt it, or you can also so with Barcode WAF, you have predefined patterns. One is credit card numbers and social security number. Apart from this, you can also put your own custom patterns. For an example, you can just mention this is PO, or any PO, any email, or not only email, any word or text containing invoice or PO or statement. You can choose to like encrypt it, or you can mask the particular information. So this is the high-level architecture within the WAF. So it uses protocol termination and validation. So you can configure services to allow only particular protocols being allowed, and other protocol, if someone tries to bypass it or use it, misuse it, it will be blocked. And you can always decrypt the traffic, and you can analyze. So if an application is protected using HTTPS, so when WAF starts saying HTTPS traffic, it cannot see what kind of traffic it's been sent. So WAF has to decrypt it. So it can also do a SSL offloading. So once the traffic is decrypted, it will able to see what type of traffic it is reaching to the backend servers. So based on that, it can able to identify whether it is a legitimate traffic or it's some malicious kind of attack it's coming from outside. So based on that, it can take a decision, and it can either block it or allow it to reach to the backend servers. And you can also have data normalization, authentication, and authorization. So a single web application might have public access, and the same application might also have a private access. For an example, the application owner, that means will be accessing the same URL, but to do some modification or customization on the application. So you can allow a particular URL only to access this for the application owners, so that when they access this particular URL, username, or you can create authentication authorization. So after passing the authentication, it will authorize the user, then only it will allow the particular user to take control or do whatever they have within their access. So you can also integrate with any type of two-factor authentication using that we see detail in the coming slides. And it can also does a load balancing. If you have more than one service supporting for a single web application, you can do a load balancing within the same WAF. And while going out, you can always make WAF as a caching, and you can compress the traffic and send it outside. And you can also do the cloaking, like I mentioned. You can hide in the sensitive data, and you can also provide or block any type of data theft. And there is always a logging and monitoring mechanism available in the Barracuda itself, so which will give you a detailed information of where the traffic is being generated, which IP is generated, which geolocation, and which parameter. If an attack has happened, you can easily find out like which form and which parameter the attack happened, and which kind of payload it's been executed. Okay, and apart from this, we have a couple of updates. One is the policy updates, security updates, and the attack definitions. So these updates are by default automatic. So whenever there is a new release, automatically the plans will get updated. And so these are the high level, like what kind of security protections there in the WAF. You have attack protection like skill accessors and command injection. You have CSRF, website cloaking. So the cloaking is something to hide sensitive information and data the protection. By default, you have credit card and SSN numbers, and you can always have your custom patterns for any data that's been sent out by your servers. And you have session protection. You can have cookie encryption, parameter tampering, and it has integrated antivirus. If you have a web application which has functionality of uploading files, so there is a antivirus engine available within the box itself. So this will check whether the uploaded file is legitimate or it is having any kind of malicious code written. So only the legitimate file will be allowed to upload, and other any type of malicious file will be blocked. And you can also restrict what type of file you want to upload it by mentioning the extension. So your application is supporting only a PDF file, you can only allow PDF file to be uploaded. If someone try to upload any file other than PDF, you can choose to like block it. And you have application level DOS protection and brute force protection and IP reputation. So you can block traffic generated from a particular source IP, or you can block by country wise. And you have a SIEM integration. We'll have a look at the SIEM integration in the coming slides. So this is the outbound protection. So when any data is sent out by your application server, so you can choose, like if it is by default, the credit card and social security number has its own pattern. So you can choose to like either block it, or you want to do an inspection, or you can encrypt, you want to mask it, or you can always use your custom patterns. And this is what I was referring when I mentioned website cloaking. So you can hide details like the web server or the app server version, operating system, version numbers, patch level, any type of directory structure. The first thing the hacker wants to do to any kind of application, it's like they'll search for the loopholes. The first thing they'll do is any directory it's been listed for the particular web application. If you just simply put a URL slash dot dot slash dot dot, it will take you to the directory structure. So with the directory structure, they can always put their own, if FTP is enabled, of course, they can put their own image and they can deface the web application. So to avoid those things, you can simply hide, or you can cloak these information, and these will actually reveal what is their known vulnerabilities. For an example, any operating system information has been released, there are many known vulnerabilities for the particular operating system. So the hacker can make use of those loopholes to gain access to the backend servers. Yeah, okay. So if you have any questions during the session, you can always, like I mentioned, you can use the Q&A session, and we'll try to answer at the end of the session. And DDoS attack, it's for the application base. There are two types of DOS attacks. One is the application level and one is the network level. So any type of application level DOS attack, the inbuilt engine will have a capability to block it. So for an example, if a user, any type of attacker try to access the application, so there will be always a request before, and then there will be a response, and there will be acknowledgement. So when someone try to send multiple requests without even waiting for the response, what the WAF will think, like there is an attack happening. So it will, by you don't have to make changes, or you don't have to configure anything new. By default, a CAPTCHA will be present for the user. Only after the CAPTCHA it's been validated, then the user will be prompted to go to their application. And this will also prevent from the slow client attack. So if there is any bot or any automated type of DOS attack happening, this CAPTCHA will able to prevent it. And there is advanced DDoS protection that happens on the cloud level. So what happens when a user try to access your application? The usual flow will be like your application will be having a local IP. On the WAF, there will be a virtual IP. So on the firewall, it will be NATed for the services, for an example, HTTP or HTTPS, and there will be a DNS A record. So when user put in their URL, so it will land on to that particular page where the DNS is routed. If advanced DDoS is enabled, what will happen? There is a So we'll have to link Barracuda WAF on-prem plans to the cloud. So the cloud will give you an IP, so where your DNS has to be linked. So when a user try to access that URL, it will actually land on to the Barracuda cloud IP. So there it will check and it will actually diagnose whether it's a legitimate traffic or any type of DOS attack that's happening. So only the legitimate traffic will be sent back to your on-prem firewall to take it forward to your backend server. Like I mentioned, so in my previous on the on-prem application level DDoS, so whenever there is attack happening with the bots, the CAPTCHA will be present for the user validation. And you have a granular reporting, and there is an option to integrate natively with any type of SIEM solution like ArcSight, Splunk, or RSA Invasion. And within the Barracuda WAF itself, you have a report. And this report, there are a couple of predefined templates available. Whatever you are saying, these are all available on the dashboard itself. So in the dashboard, you can able to see what type of attack speed coming, how many sessions, and how many attacks based on the types will be available at the dashboard itself. And you can always export it with available templates, and you can schedule to send it as an email, or you can schedule to put it in a particular file share servers. And you have the configuration with it's very simple with Barracuda. The moment you open out of the box, you can simply use it within 15 minutes max, and there are predefined templates available. For an example, SAP application, Oracle application, and OVA, and a simple web application. So you can make use of those templates, just apply to your whatever your application is being published, and you can enable this with the default security. And apart from this, you can always import the security configuration from those templates, and you can create your own custom profiles based on your application. And so by doing this, we need to make sure how secure your web application. So for that, there is something called bvm.barracudanetworks.com. So this is a full application level vulnerability scanner. So this will scan your web application, whether it is having authentication or it is only having a static page, or it is dynamically getting the data from your backend databases. You can customize, and you can do a full scan. So this scan will give you a report listing these are the vulnerabilities. So by seeing the vulnerabilities, there are two things. One is classically you will have to fix those vulnerabilities by fixing your application code, or you can tweak your WAF to protect from these kind of vulnerabilities. So with this scanner will be natively integrated with the Barracuda WAF, so that with a click of single button, the tweak or whatever the patch can be fixed. And this is how the report will look from the Barracuda vulnerability manager. So it will be categorized into based on severity, critical, high, medium, and low. And each vulnerability, whatever the findings, it will show like how many, from where it got, from which page and which parameter the vulnerability has been identified, and what is the remediation solution for that. This is actually free. Even if you don't have Barracuda WAF, you can use this BVM. All you have to do is create a user for yourself, and just go to this URL, create a user for yourself, and you can put your own whatever your application you're running, and you can scan and you can see the results by yourself. But one suggestion is that to do the scanning in the off working hours, because during scanning there will be a lot of fuzzing happening. The fuzzing, it's something like a lot of random generated data will be sent to the application to see how your application is taking. So there will be a chance the application might go down for if any of your user is accessing. So it is always better to have the scan in the off working hours, so that based on your number of static pages or dynamic pages, it will take its own time. Once the scan is completed, the report will be sent to the email address which you use for the registration. Yeah, so the Barracuda, so BVM also has its own remediation. So with WAF connected, the WAF with a single click of a button, it'll you can patch it or tweak it to remediate whatever vulnerabilities it's been identified. And by with this integration, you can always manage the workflow for your application. And it's actually very simplified, and it has a native integration between these two, so that it will be easy if you use a WAF within this BVM. Identity and access management. So, like I mentioned, so if we can enable authentication and authorization for a particular URL, if your admin having a particular admin pages on the same web application, you can enable this authentication and authorization so that admin can able to access those pages after authorizing by themselves. And by doing this, you can also integrate with the two-factor authentication, whether by using token ID or client certificate or using SMS passcode. And there is a separate reporting for this identity and access management. And you can always enable single sign-on if the admin is using. If the admin is trying to access the backend or the application from the local network, so this will take the login information from the Windows and it will allow the admin to log in. If the admin is accessing from outside the network, it will be they'll be produced with authentication mechanism, and they'll have to authenticate themselves to prove they are the owner of the page, and WAF will allow their access after the successful authentication. And like I mentioned, you can have acceleration and load balancing on the same. So you'll have layer 4 and layer 7 load balancing on the same WAF. You can always do the SSL offloading. SSL offloading, it's a must because this will offload your load on the backend server, and the SSL will be terminated on the WAF itself. And the one more reason behind it, it's like so that the WAF can able to analyze the traffic once it breaks the encryption. It can see the traffic in clear text and apply its policies and whatever you have set on the WAF, then it will allow to the backend server. And it has caching mechanism. So all traffic will be cached on the WAF itself. And you have content routing. So you have several backend servers, and it's having the same web application. So this web application, for an example, using a database for a different server, and pictures for another server, and email for another server. So you can customize based on the content routing. So you can mention to image go to this server, for email go to this server, and for any other information you can point to a particular server based on the content. And like I mentioned in my previous slide, you have a seamless integration with the vulnerability scanner. That vulnerability scanner is from Barracuda BVM, and apart from this, you have a seamless integration with IBM AppScan and Sensec. So there you can integrate it, and any reports you're generating from those scanner, you can link with your WAF, and you can see what kind of remediation you can able to do with the WAF itself. And you can always have the role-based administration for the WAF. So there will be a delegated administrator. So you can create one admin for your support admins. They can only view the logs. They cannot make any changes. They cannot create any services. So they can only view the logs. And it supports for both IP4 and IPv6. And Barracuda Central, it's a centralized cloud resource where you will get all kind of updates and license definitions, and Barracuda level IP reputation updates all will be sent to. Not only WAF, Barracuda has their network, cloud gen firewall, their email security gateway, their proxy appliances. All this will be linked to the same Barracuda Central. So this will be the centralized repository where the hardware appliance or virtual appliance will receive updates automatically from the same Barracuda Central. Okay, so like I mentioned, it also has a ATP on the cloud. So this ATP, the sandboxing. So if you used to protect any if your application is having any upload function, so if you have ATP enabled or the firewall, what will happen? This file is actually uploaded in the Barracuda cloud, and that cloud where the sandboxing will happen, only the legitimate file will be allowed to upload on the backend server. Any type of attack or any type of malicious detection, it will be blocked there itself. So like I mentioned, there are multiple threat vectors which will be sent to Barracuda load balancer, firewall, email security, and web security. And all in whatever we have seen, the security, DDoS protection, load balancing, and server health monitoring, logging, reporting, authentication and access control, session persistence, SSL and performance acceleration, everything in a single platform. And third party. So this is the NSS lab report. So this been reported at 99.97 across under any other competitor. So this is the highest level of block they have reported. And with WAF advantage, you can seamlessly block any type of attacks, and you can prevent data loss, and you'll have accelerated application performance all in one appliance. With hardware, so these are the various models. With there is one more advantage in hardware. You'll have a hardware refresh once in 4 years. Hardware refresh is nothing but it's a small amount when you pay for your regular license revision for support. At the end of every 4th year, you will get a new appliance, new hardware free of cost. So no other vendor is doing this hardware refresh. So these are the various model. It supports from 1 servers up to 600 servers. So based on the servers, so up to 460, you can have WAF as active passive mode, and model from 660 and above, you'll have active mode. So these are the feature list available based on the models. So any questions? I'm done with my session. If you have any questions, you can always use the Q&A session. Let's see if we have any questions. Okay, this will be the end of my session. So if you have any questions, you can always write to us. And thank you for joining today's session. See you.